Hello everyone and welcome to my review for Kengan Chapter 87. Before I get into this week's review, I'd just like to wish a happy Thanksgiving to all of my American viewers. I know that the circumstances for this year are kind of weird, and for a lot of people, you either can't or shouldn't be visiting with your family. But regardless of whatever's going on with you guys, I do hope you have an enjoyable day. And with that, let's get into the chapter. So, the first thing we find out is what exactly Ryuki did with his thumb, and we learn about a new Gao-style technique called Armor Clad, which is basically just the Nico-style adamantine kata. It pretty much works the same way, and they say that it was inherited from the Gao style, like, it was passed on to the Nico style. So, I assume we're going to be seeing a number of Gao-style techniques that are basically just old-school versions of Nico-style techniques. I have a feeling, like, the super good worm-killing shit is probably going to be stuff that's basically just a more archaic version of the Nico-style katas. Now, what Gao does specifically is use Armor Clad on his thumb to do a move called Gao-style Pierce. So we seem to have offensive versions of defensive techniques. That's all pretty interesting stuff. Now, as we had assumed would happen with the way last chapter ended, with all that blood, Naidan has in fact been fatally wounded. Now, Naidan pushes it in to speed up the process, but the wound was already fatal, and he refers to Ryuki as a connector that will lead the worm. So we still don't know what's going on. It's weird. It looks like Ryuki's thumb is fucking broken. I just noticed that. It is like fucking twisted around, I think. It looks broken as shit, as far as I can tell. So, I don't know what's going on there, and maybe he just drew it weird, I don't know. But it's still really not clear what exactly the worm wants with Ryuki. I assume it's something to do with, like, the cyborg brain shit. He's probably like a model or something that they can base it off of. Something like that. Now, we learn a little bit about the origins of Naidan and Dongcheng's friendship, and that apparently Dongcheng was the first person that Naidan fought upon his infiltration of Purgatory, which apparently happened 3 years ago. So Naidan is definitely sort of an established figure within Purgatory. I would assume that most of the other fighters and people who are, like, I guess, longtime Purgatory fans would be familiar with him as a very strong fighter within the organization. Now, we find out some information about Dongcheng for the first time. Finally learning some stuff about him is that he's a member of Purgatory's 3 Demon Fists. Now, this is interesting, because we had assumed that 3 Demon Fists was just like a subtitle for Lu Tian, who's like the centipede 3 Demon Fists. But apparently there are 3 of them, and they each have some kind of connection to a different animal. And Dongcheng is the serpent of the 3 Demon Fists. So I'm left to wonder who the third of the 3 Demon Fists is. Well, for starters, we don't know what the fuck the Demon Fists are. Like, are they the strongest Purgatory fighters? Or do they just have, like, some kind of shared technique thing? If anyone's sort of familiar with, like, names, could you tell me where, like, Lu Qian, where that name sounds like it comes from? Because it kind of sounds Chinese, a little. Like, it's definitely Asian. But it doesn't really have, like, it's not as long as the other Chinese fighters' names, like Liu Dongcheng or Fei Wangfang. Those are much more like, I don't know what you want to say, like cliche Chinese names. like just from the way they sound. But if it does have something to do with them being from China, then I would assume that Wang Feng is the third of the three demon fists. And I don't know if we've only seen the names of two of them, but Centipede and the Serpent both sort of have a kind of similar body type, like a elongated creature, and they're both kind of like associated with not good stuff, like maybe poisons or something. So we have a centipede, a serpent, and I don't know, a worm? I don't know, because the centipede seems to just kind of be synonymous with the worm, so maybe another thing. This is interesting, so I guess we'll have to be guessing who the other of the three demon fists is. If Liu Tian is also Chinese, then I'm going to assume that it's Wang Feng, and that it'll have something to do with whatever martial art they practice. Or it's just the name for the strongest fighters, in which case, I guess Liu Tian is top tier, and so is Dong Cheng. I had a feeling both of them would be up there, probably, but I wasn't sure how far up there, and if the Demon Fists are the top three, I'm kind of surprised that Liu Tian is a part of that. Dong Cheng, not as much. I kind of expected Dong Cheng would maybe be like top three for Purgatory, especially when I had thought that he was the Tiger's Vessel, but now I'm basically, I don't think he's the Tiger's Vessel, which is a total 180 from like 6 chapters ago, where I was saying that, oh yes, it's definitely Dong Cheng. And we have more stuff muddying up the waters here, but before I get to that, the three Demon Fists is just what the audience called them. It's not like an official Purgatory thing, so I'd assume that they are like maybe 3 fan favorites or something, I don't know. He says he's a martial arts prodigy. So we've got another one of those. I wonder if he's like Cosmo, and that he's just able to kind of learn and adapt to things super quickly. We'll have to see. Dong Cheng stocks are way up today. Now, as Naidan is dying, he tells Dong Cheng to be careful and not trust Nicholas. And look, Nicholas is looking pretty sus right now. He's looking pretty intimidating. For some reason, he looks like a woman in this panel. I don't know, maybe it's because he's French or something. But if Le Banner is a part of the worm, which we've thought for a while, why would Naidan rat him out? That seems like a really weird thing to do. The worms kill themselves all the time, and they have this shared mission thing, so why, upon his deathbed, I guess, would Naidan sell out a fellow worm member? If I had to guess, I would probably assume that maybe Nicholas is like a former member of the worm, like an ex-member. He left the worm, he betrayed the worm or something. We'll have to see. Or it could be because he knows that Nicholas is going to try and kill whoever he goes up against, and that could cost Purgatory the match, and potentially the entire tournament. So maybe something like don't put your faith in Le Banner, because, you know, he's not exactly a very reliable guy when it comes to our business. And Wang Feng seems maybe concerned. Like, he says this looks really bad and he's sweating, but I don't know. I think Wang Feng and Le Banner are currently the 2 best candidates to be the Tiger's Vessel, and now Le Banner's status as a worm member is all muddied up. It seems like as soon as we think we know what's going on, a new Kengan chapter comes out and you're just like, aha, you don't know shit. That's just how it goes. But Naidan says that Liu is a good person, he says he's a good man, and that in all of his life as a worm, he never thought that he could feel this way about another person. And he says, I'll see you in the azure skies, my friend, and then he dies. So, once again, it seems that Naidan and Dong Cheng did have a true, genuine friendship. And I was right, that is like a weird thing for the worm to have. They're very callous and disconnected from people, but it seems like they are still able to care about other people sometimes. Um, so I guess that humanizes them a little bit, outside of them just being insane suicidal maniacs. They are still, deep down, human beings. And due to Nidon's death, Ryuki loses the match by disqualification. So 3-2 lead for Purgatory. This is the outcome that I had thought was probably the most likely since the outstart, since the beginning. And we'll have to see what happens for Ryuki from here, because he does seem kind of torn up over this. I'm not sure why, because he's killed the worm all the time before. Maybe it was because of, like, the conflicted motivations or whatever. We'll have to see. But Dongcheng is not having it. He wants to murder Ryuki and probably Koga. You died too. Yeah, he's probably talking about Ryuki. He's gonna try and fucking kill Ryuki. So maybe we'll see a little bit of a fight, but someone is definitely going to step in to stop Dongcheng, and that's probably going to be Lolong. I mean, Lolong has been the one that's been trying to tell Dongcheng to stay in line, and if there's anyone you want to have show up to just sort of flex how strong they are, it's Lolong, who, I mean, just, like, moving slightly and opening his eyes is able to make Tarashi shit his pants. So, Lolong seems like the most likely candidate to fucking instant transmission out into the arena and just sort of stand in front of Dongcheng, put his arm out to stop him from murdering Ryuki. And either Dongcheng is going to rush to go fight next, or he's going to be stopped from fighting anytime soon by likely Lolong. I mean, Lolong is basically like the nanny dad of the Purgatory fighters, sort of. I mean, they don't really have one, but Lolong is the guy that everyone's just so intimidated by that he keeps them all in line. So, I have a feeling Lolong may stop Dongcheng from going up for a while before he can sort of calm down a little. Because, I mean, his best friend just fucking died. Like, he just got murdered. This is not a thing that happens in Purgatory. So he would not at all be accustomed to stuff like this in the way someone from Kengan would be. So we'll have to see who goes up next. We've had a lot of, like, high-tier fighters going up. I feel like we have to have someone lower-tier go up. We're gonna have to have some not as strong fighters. I don't think we're going to have another grappling match immediately after, unless it's going to be a grappler from the Kengan team. I mean, Lolong could go up next. Honestly, if Lolong's not going up at the very end of the tournament, I could see him going up after this, where he's like, alright, let's fucking calm down here a little bit and have, like, a nice civilized match. I think me, the person who is the king of the Purgatory matches, knows how to have a civilized fight that abides by the rules. So that's a possibility, actually. I think Lolong could go up next. Not super likely, but if he's going to go up early, I feel like it will be right after this. So, Mongol Bros, it seems that our boy Nidon is gone for good, which is unfortunate. I think he was probably the coolest of the Purgatory fighters who've gone up thus far. Maybe the strongest? I don't know if him or Toho would be stronger. But what can you do about it? I mean, at least now is the time to sell your bulk coins. You made a good investment, since his death does indeed count as a Purgatory win. So, I guess we're winning here, boys. I think that's what... I think that's 3 predictions that I've gotten right in a row. Let's see if I can keep up the streak. I guess this also means that Shiva will win against Raiden, if the pattern continues of the outcomes being the same. Though this does kind of muddy the water since he won by dying. I don't know. I guess that could actually go either way. Those clever little bastards. But with that, that's really all I have to say for this video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Kengan Omega chapter reviews every week. My current subscriber goal is to hit 500 before the end of the year, and that is seeming super plausible now. I set that when I had just hit 250, and I was like, oh, let's see how close we can get to 500. And then I gained like 200 subs in 3 weeks. The last several weeks have been absolutely absurd for sub gain, we could hit 500 in like a week if it keeps up at this rate. So subscribe if you enjoy my videos. If you enjoy other series such as Record of Ragnarok, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Chainsaw Man, I do videos on this series as well, so if you're interested in those, you should definitely check out my channel. If you enjoy discussing Kengan Omega with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce on this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have a link to it on my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.